Moin, I'm Catherine and today I'm in bed with my favorite books of the month of May, in which I have read and listened to 20 books. And as always, I'm going to present the ones I like the most. Although today I also have a few books that I did not like because they are obviously very unpopular opinions. So I thought I'd mention them too. First, I've listened to Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the first book in the Dreamer Trilogy. And the Dreamer Trilogy takes place shortly after the Raven Cycle, and it's no secret that I'm a huge fan of the Raven Cycle, so it was very nice to see the characters again. This concentrates on Roland, one of the characters of the Raven Cycle. The other characters, like, some have already appeared, some I'm guessing will appear again, but it's focused on Roland. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, which is okay because for the Raven Cycle, I also took it a little bit of time to get into the Raven Cycle, and at the end, I loved the whole series. So 3 out of 5 stars is a pretty good start, I think, and I'm really looking forward to continuing the series. Then I've listened to China Dolls by Liza C., which is about those 3 Asian girls. 2 of them are Chinese, 1 of them is Japanese, and they all become showgirls, and it follows their lives, their falling outs, they're getting together again. I didn't get too much into the characters, and the love stories were a bit meh, but all in all, I would still recommend it. That's why I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then I finally read The Great Believers by Rebecca Makkai, and I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars because I thought combining the story of this young woman whose brother dies of AIDS and his circle of friends and how AIDS impacts gay community in the 80s, I thought it was a little bit ambitious to also put in a story about a mother and a daughter, although for sure it should view how the death of her brother and her family background impacted her relation to her daughter. But I still thought it was a little bit ambitious. Maybe I would have given it more stars or liked it more if it would have concentrated on the circle of friends of her brother who died. But I still would recommend it to people who like to get into the theme of AIDS in the 80s. I have read a lot of other books who go into this way deeper than this does, so maybe this was why this didn't impact me as much, but I still liked it, I still recommend it, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. A few months ago, I think during the preparation for the Reeperbahn Festival, where I always film a lot of music sessions, I'm just going to I'm just going to link the playlist with all the Reeperbahn Festival videos in the corner. I got the Kiwi Musikbibliothek, which is a new series where like German musicians, actors, music journalists, whoever might have an opinion about someone in the music business write books about their favorite musicians or one of their favorite musicians. And as I recommended Tino Hanekamp, sowas von da, in the last video about my quarantine reads, I thought, now, finally, the time has come to read this wonderful little book, which is Tino Hanekamp writing about his life and experience with Nick Cave, who happens to be an artist I also love a lot. So this was a no-brainer. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because it wasn't like, the deepest stuff in the world, but it for sure is entertaining because Tino Hanekamp can write. And if you want to have a nice personal view on Nick Cave from Tino Hanekamp, I would highly recommend this. And I'm also looking forward to reading the other ones that I have in the other room now from the Kiwi Musikbibliothek. A super nice idea, Kiwi. And maybe by just saying Kiwi, I should mention that it's a German publishing agency called Kiepenheuer and Witch, and the short is the Kiwi. Just in time you were wondering why she's talking about birds or fruits or what's going on. It's a German publishing agency. The next one, also a case of Instagram made me do it, or what's the hashtag on Instagram for books you discover on Instagram, because like everybody is raving about them. The Flatshare by Beth O'Leary, and I'm a little bit sad that this is like really labeled as chick lit, because I think it's so much more. I mean, it isn't, a deep psychological story about anything tragic happening, but it's a very nice story about two people falling in love, and I've laughed so lot during reading this. So if you're looking out for a really like nice summer read that's also not stupid and not like your typical chick lit brainless girl gets boy stuff, I highly recommend The Fletcher by Beth O'Leary. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then I've read Young Jane Young by Gabrielle, Zevin, and it's no secret that I like Gabrielle, Zevin a lot, and this did not disappoint. Just a little warning, if you read the blurb and then you start reading the novel and you think, well, isn't that a whole different story than what I was expecting? It starts with the story of the mother, or with the view of the mother, of this young woman who interns with a politician who like is a faint acquaintance of the family, or they've been neighbors at some point in their lives, and she has an affair with him. Stupidly, she blogs about it, although anonymously. As the affair blows up, everybody reads this, finds out it's her blogging about this affair, and her life is ruined. His life, as it goes, just continues. His woman stands by him, blah, blah, blah. And this is about her life and how she tries to change her life to get away from what happened. And it's hilarious. And from a feministic view, it like hits the nail, however you say this in English. It just, I loved it a lot, because it expresses how things go, that the woman is ruined, although she was a stupid young student who had an affair, and the married man, the politician, who's the bad guy in the scenario, he just gets away with it. And I love this along about this novel. And it's also about, she has a daughter, and her daughter finally finds out what happens, and it's a lot about their relationship too. And I always like a nice mother-daughter relationship story too. Like it's 3-2 mother-daughter relationships. So yeah, if you haven't gotten it yet, I highly recommend to read Young Jane Young by Gabrielle, Zevin, 4 out of 5 stars. Speaking of feministic reads, Curtis Sittenfeld, You Think It, I Say It. Usually I'm not too much into short stories. I've listened to them. I laughed a lot, and I laughed a lot, and I loved how she nails women in our time, their relationships, their sex life, their careers, whatever's going on. Wonderful short stories by Curtis Sittenfeld, and I highly recommend this. Speaking of Rebecca Makkai, I also read The Borrower by Rebecca Makkai, which I still had lying around from a used books haul. And it's about this librarian who connects with a kid whose parents are very strict. Everybody suspects he's gay, and his parents try to get him to this Christian thingy to get him straight. And then one day he comes out in the library, the librarian comes in, finds him, and he sort of kidnaps her to kidnap him. Like, not kidnap him, but run away with him. And they go on a road trip. And this is about that journey. And I loved it a lot. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I also finally read Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops by Jen Campell, which is factually just what it is, a collection of things people have said in bookstores collected from different bookshops all over the world. Me having worked in like a shop that sold CDs during my school days and university days, and having worked in service all of my life, can truly connect with this, because when you work in service, I mean, you always get to hear weird things, but especially service people get to hear a lot of weird things, especially there are a few things where people come into the bookstore and they're like, well, I've read this book, it had this and this cover, can you sell it to me? And the same thing happens with music. People come in and say, I've seen this video, you know, the one with the and then you're supposed to know the song. So I found this truly hilarious. It's a short thing. It's nice and entertaining. It's perfect toilet literature, by the way. And what I love about reading, like buying used books, that sometimes weird things fall out of them, and then you know it's bought in this bookshop in France. Isn't that fun? So if you like want to have a nice thing to go through, did I mention perfect toilet literature? John Campbell, Weird Things, 3 out of 5 stars. So let's get to the unpopular opinions. My Sister, the Serial Killer. Everybody is hyping about this, and I just did not get it. If you can tell me what this book is actually about and what's so great about it, please tell me in the comments, because I did not get it. I did not. And the next unpopular opinion, this book has also been flowing through my social media stream a lot. Burial Rites by Hanekamp. Admittedly, I've listened to it as an audiobook, and it was like the worst reader ever. This may have been a reason. Maybe I would have felt completely different about the whole book. But it also had like one of the things I really, really hate. It's one of my most hated pet peeves, like the slow reveal. No, sorry. Again, I might have had another opinion if I've read it, but no. Those were the books I've read in May, and I'm very curious if you want to tell me something about my unpopular opinions or any of the books. Leave a comment, let me know. And as always, do not forget to support your local independent book dealer, especially in the times right now. Moin, I'm Catherine, and today I'm in bed with Laura said.
Hi!
So we are here to talk about a book I love very, very much. It's called
Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Carol Rivka Brun.